It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light, little flock. Go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24. Very popular chapter and book in the Bible, especially among Christians. Matthew 24 is extremely popular among Christians. People often reference this scripture when it comes to the end times. And today, little flock, speaking of the end times, it would be well with you if you were prepared for the days that you're in and that you're coming into as well. Preparation is what saves lives. Being prepared for the things to come. And if you know Abba, he always warns ahead of time of what's to come so that lives can be saved. You see? And since this battle is spiritual and it's not physical, then those who are not prepared spiritually, in other words, internally, will succumb to the battle. Correct? When you go to war, if you don't have enough ammunition, if you don't have a weapon, if you don't have any protection on, bulletproof vest or helmet or anything, then you're ill prepared for the battle. You see? And so it is with the spiritual. If you don't have the armor on, if you're not wearing the armor that was prescribed for the soldiers, then you're not going to be prepared, little flock. Anybody who's in their pride will not survive this war. Only the meek, only the humble, only the few, only the lowly. And that's why Abba's stressing to you all right now, humility before honor. Honor comes when you win the battle. But in order to win the battle, you must have humility. Now, we know that most people, when they approach a battle, approach it pridefully. And that's why they lose, because pride goes before a fall. And usually people build up pride when they feel confident in their state that they're in. If you feel confident that you're going to win the war, there's a good chance pride might start to creep in there, you see, to get you to believe that it's something that you have done that have caused you to be successful on the battlefield. The humble understand that there's nothing that they've done that has caused them to be successful on the battlefield. See the difference between the two types of warriors? So I'm talking to the spiritual warriors. I'm not concerned with the others. They have generals, they have lieutenants, they have officers, they have majors and all kinds of sergeants and every damn thing, and rank and file and everything. They have all of that. But what about the spiritual warriors? They've been lacking a general or a shepherd or a head. You see that? They've been lacking it. And because they've been lacking it, they don't have right thought concerning what they're facing. Then they succumb to what they're facing 9 times out of 10, usually out of fear. But today we want to stress about anger and how anger can cause you to come out of your humble state that you should remain in order to be successful on the battlefield. And remember, your enemy is subtle. He's more subtle than any beast of the field. So he's very cunning, your enemy that is. And so if your battle was not carnal, but it's spiritual, then where is this cunning enemy of yours waging war against you? It would be what's going on inside of you, not outside of you. But people think they're safe and secure based off the outward circumstance, don't they? And not on the inward, you see? But if your enemy is crafty and knows that your state is based upon what you're doing internally, in other words, your circumstances, well, your outcome will be based upon how you are internally. If he knows that, then he will disrupt your internal world and convince you that it's the external that is determining how you should feel. So he's got you in a double deception. You double tricked. Can't you see it? So now one of the tricks he likes to use is this energy of, I just don't care. What did grandson mean? I just don't care. When you're dealing with people, there's going to come a time when you're going to deal with someone, if you haven't already, who just doesn't care. If you tell them they're wrong and they know they're wrong, they just don't care. And so now what do you do with someone who you have proven that you are right and they are wrong, and they still insist on being evil toward you because they don't care that they're wrong? Now what do you do? Remember, we're reading from Matthew 24, right? Let's go there and read a quick scripture, a couple scriptures. Matthew 24, we'll start at verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, y'all understand that? Iniquity shall abound. What does iniquity mean, first of all? It's because this affects the spiritual warriors that I'm talking to. This iniquity abounding, it will affect you if you aren't spiritually prepared for it, because it's coming. So one of the things you need to do is accept that it is coming, because this message is all about acceptance. You see? Acceptance. To accept what is coming. That's what preparation is about when we talk about this message. Accepting that it is. So one thing we need to accept is iniquity shall abound. So iniquity, unfairness, unbalanced scales, inequality, because that will abound. Now, what is abound? Abound means to exist in large quantity or number, or to be filled or abundantly supplied. A large quantity. So because iniquity will be going on in such huge amounts, what will happen because of that? The love of many shall wax cold. Wax means become. Like when you got a candle and you light it, it doesn't just immediately burn up and go out. It stays lit for a while because the wax slowly goes away and melts. It slowly happens over time. So it becomes, you see? Same thing with your love. It's slowly getting worn down because of the iniquity that is in such large amounts. So understand that then, little flock, so that your love doesn't wax cold, correct? If you're not prepared for the injustice, for the inequality that's going to take place in your own life, then you will get angry. See, it's that simple. That's why your love is waxing cold. You're getting angry about it. You're mad about it. It starts to make you become vindictive, spiteful, and bitter. Skeet deedly, can you understand me? Now, we were talking about Jordan, right? Speaking of humility, we were talking about the Jordan River. And we talked about how it goes from a high place and it flows to a low place. And it actually flows to the lowest place on earth, called the Dead Sea, or also known as the Salt Sea. Now, how come there isn't much life in that Dead Sea? That's why it's called dead. How come there isn't much life there? Let you guys think about that for a moment. Could it be because it's such a bitter place to live? It's such an uninhabitable place? Is that why it could be? You don't see any fish swimming around in the Dead Sea. You don't even see any seaweed floating up in there. Just a few kinds of bacteria and fungi. Isn't that interesting? And we discovered it is because it is such a bitter environment. It is such a harsh environment for life to thrive in it. So life can't. Very few organisms are able to. The organisms that are able to are humble and hidden. Can you guys hear that? Hope you can. All right. So when you go down into this low state, down to the Dead Sea, to the lowest state a man can be, it's a bitter place to be. You're going to shed tears and cry because of all the injustice that's going on above you. You see, being lowly and being humble causes you to be mistreated quite a bit. That's why you were warned of these things. You see, this is why you're prepared for this thing that I'm describing today specifically by Yahusha. Marvel not if the world, all those ones above you, if they hate you, if they mistreat you, if they despitefully use you, when they speak evil against you. See how bitter of a life that can become? You see how many tears you're going to cry because of being mistreated, because iniquity is abounding? You see how sorrowful that makes you? See how much you're going to cry and how much salt you're going to put out? Do you guys understand that there? So you had love, and now it starts to wax cold because of this iniquity and injustice. So you're being warned today not to allow your love to wax cold because of that, because it will have the tendency to, as we just read there, you see? But the very next verse says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So who's going to be saved? When the iniquity begins to abound on the earth, who shall be saved out of it? He that shall endure it. You hear that? He didn't say, you who lash back because of it will be saved. You who are fighting back because this iniquity is abounding, you shall be saved. You who are going forth whack-a-moling these niggas and putting them 6 feet down underneath the ground because iniquity is abounding, isn't gonna get you saved, is it? That's not what it says here. That won't do it. You see? He says, but endurance will. Endurance. You see that? So let's get that word endure. Endure means, hold on, y'all, to experience, listen good, and tolerate something difficult, painful, or unpleasant, especially without giving in. So the giving in obviously is what, little flock? Letting your love wax cold, isn't it? If you give in, then your love, you didn't endure in love. So then what is our job as spiritual beings on this earth? It's very simple. It's fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Who is God? God is love. What is his commandment? That you love one another as I have loved you. It's not even hard. It's not even a struggle. It's just that iniquity abounds so much and men love iniquity. They love getting off on others. They love putting others down so that they can step above them. See what I mean about down? They love to trample upon the humble of the earth and take advantage of people who don't strike back. And they believe because the person has not struck back that they have won or they have gotten over on you. Well, the only reason you didn't strike back is because of what you were told and what you were taught by he who didn't strike back when he was treated in the same fashion, if not worse than you, more than likely worse than you have been. You have not struggled to death with this thing that we're talking about. Yahusha did. So then when he shows you how to endure it, he's showing you the epitome, I would say, of iniquity abounding. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do any sin. And yet look how he was treated by people. So then when you ask yourself, have you done anything wrong and done any sin? The answer is yes. And so if it's yes, then why should you not have to endure more than he who did no sin? But you're not. That's the grace of God, I'd say, on your life. That's what I would call it. So then you're receiving grace. Are you aware of that? Or are you too pride to accept? Are you too prideful to accept it? Are you too arrogant to believe you are actually getting grace every day? Well, then if you know you're getting grace in great amounts, then what does that mean you should give to others? What's going to help you endure? Probably being gracious and forgiving all offenses and praying that prayer that Yahushua taught us to pray, which is, forgive us, Father, our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. If that is your mind state, and that is the state that you remain in 24/7, then you're constantly forgiving others for what they do, and you're constantly keeping no record of wrong. Why are you doing that? Because you read that God is love, and that you want to please God. In order to please God, you must be loving. As we just read, if you don't endure in loving, then you won't be saved. Only the loving are going to be saved. So then what should the preacher have told you? Like I always say to you, he should have revealed the Father to you, that God is love. And I don't care when men hear that, how they like to shuck and jive and go other directions. I don't care. I don't go to the right hand or to the left hand. I go straight on, because that's what he told me to do. Mark out straight paths for your feet. Mark it out. Don't go to the right hand or to the left hand, because many are going to go off of the path. They're going to be offended. And that's why he said, blessed are those who are not offended in me, but all of you shall be offended in me this day. Why? It's for the same reason I'm telling you today, little flock. If you can understand that, then you've gotten great wisdom in this life. You haven't wasted your life if you understand what the grandson's saying to you today. Because the world is not going to tell you this. It's not going to prepare you for this. It's not going to let you know, hey, here it comes. Here comes the unfairness. Here comes the iniquity. Here comes the pride and arrogance coming right for you to destroy you. What will you do when it comes? Will you just scream out, but I'm right and you're wrong? And then the person's going to say, I don't care that I'm wrong. I'm still going to treat you like this. So now my question becomes, what do you do? Because we could care less about what they're going to do, because we already read what they're going to do. They're going to abound in iniquity. So then when they start doing that, why act surprised? Probably the same reason people act surprised when they're hated. Probably the same reason people get all down in the dumps and every damn thing when they're despitefully used. Probably when people get all sad and everything when someone has bore false witness against them. It's probably for the same reasons, wouldn't you think? It's because they're offended. You see that there? It's because of offense. But woe unto him by who the offense comes. So if you know that's true, then when you're offended, then you know it's woe upon him. You don't have to try to get him straight or get him right. That's Abba's job. Your job is self-control. What you do with self, that is the fruit of the Spirit, controlling yourself. And so all of those who have that fruit of the Spirit will be able to endure iniquity, won't they? Because like I said, it's coming. I don't care how you feel about it. It's only going to increase and increase and increase and increase. And because of that increasing of iniquity, the saints shall be wore out. If you're in your pride, then you won't believe that. I ain't going to get wore out. Shit. I know the truth. I'm going to stand strong no matter who the hell comes my way. All right. All right. Well, then you're just in your pride, bud. That's all it means. You're just in your pride. Are you resting in the power of I am or in the power of you? You're like, wait a minute. I am me. What is this guy talking about? Well, that proves right there that you don't know the Father. So then you ain't prepared for nothing. Because it's his power that he gave us. The spirit of power. Where did the spirit come from? It only comes from the Father. You see it? He's the one who gives the spirit of power and might and of a sound mind. See what I'm saying to you? Knowing what's going on, that's a sound mind. And knowing how to respond appropriately to it. So when you go through life trying to tell someone that you're having aught with, you're right and they're wrong. You're trying to explain that to them. And then they don't care that they are wrong. They just insist on staying in that low vibrational state. What do? Do you come down into the basement with them? Because that's where they're at. They're in the basement. And the basement sucks, guys. It really sucks to be down in the basement. It's lonely. It's dark. It's dank. And nothing to eat down there. It's cold. It's boring as fuck. It's not even no window to look and see any damn thing. You're just way down in there in the dumps. Well, Misery love company. So if the person is down in there, they want you to come down in there too. I'll give you an example. Somebody's upset. You say, hey, what's going on with you? Man, shit, man, goddamn. Fucking, I'm irritated. Okay, well, you want to talk about it or anything? Nah, I don't want to talk to you. See how they're throwing darts at you? And they're going to deny this, what I'm telling you. I'm just honest and humble enough to tell you that that's what they're doing. They have no cloak for their sin when it comes to this. They're actually throwing venom at you and vitriol. They have no choice because they're in the basement. That's the only thing you got down there is spider webs, centipedes, trash, dust. You ain't got nothing of value to give when you're down there. At least when you're on the main floor, you can go to the refrigerator, get somebody something, a nice cool drink. You can fix a meal for somebody. You can sit on the porch and get some fresh air and look outside and relax and drink some lemonade or something, swinging on the swing. You can do something to relieve those negative feelings. When you're down in that dumps, you can't get shit to relieve it. So you just like to pull people down in there with you. So then what's your job? When you're being enticed to go down in the dumps, like I said, somebody throwing some venom at you, spitting some vitriol at you, acting nasty when all you're doing is trying to help them, don't tell them that, first of all, because it's not going to profit you to say, hey, I'm just here trying to help you. They're just going to get more upset because pride is in the way. See, pride is what's got them down in the basement. They don't know that. Well, you fall when you got pride, don't you? You at a very low point down in there. How the hell you get down in that part of the house? Because your pride. That's why. It come before you fall. So if you didn't fall down into this low place, it's because your pride. You're getting humbled because you were unwilling to just humble yourself and condescend and be like, you know what? I understand you're trying to help me. I'm not really in the state and I'm emotionally upset right now. I'm in hell right now. So it's really no need in talking to me, buddy. They can't do that because for them to do that, they'd have to admit that they're in the state of hell. They're not going to admit that to you. And even if they do, what good is it to admit it? I'm in hell, damn it. Lightning bolts coming around this nigga, smoke and fire behind that nigga. I'm in hell, damn it. Where weeping and gnashing of teeth is. What do you want from me? Like, I'm just trying to help you come up out of there if you're willing to. Well, I ain't willing to. All right. The key is you don't go down there. That's the key. You stay right where you're at. That's what I'm preparing you about, little flock. Iniquity is what causes you to jump down in there and get down in there. Hey, man, what the fuck is up with you, buh? I was talking, trying to be kind. You want to rail to fucking go all off on me? You sound just like them now. See, that's the state they in. Now they got some company. Not realizing if they want company, all they got to do is come upstairs. That's all they got to do if they really want company. You see that? So if you get offended because they're doing this to you and they're spitting at you and they're throwing vitriol at you and their iniquity is abounding against you, and then you start saying, but it's not fair. All I was trying to do was be nice to you. Look how you're doing. This isn't fair. Nope, it's not. Were you prepared for that? Or are you just going to bitch and moan and cry about it? And I understand why you would. Did y'all hear that part? I understand why you would bitch and moan and cry about it. I myself have done it because it doesn't feel good. It's that simple. It doesn't feel good to be treated like that. Yahusha told you that ahead of time. They're going to do this. They're going to do this. They're going to do this. And when they do that, this is what you do in return. Don't reward evil for evil, but reward good for evil. Love your enemies. Enemies love their own. So do what he can't do. You can love your own, so can he. But can you love your enemy? Because he can't. You got to go above and beyond because that's what you called to do. You are from above. So you're called a high calling. It didn't say a low calling. It says the high calling that you've received. So you've been called out of the world to do something. What do you think that is? I just showed you what it is. It's very simple. To love. If you're called out of the world, who called you out of it? If you say somebody other than love called you out, then you don't know Father. You don't know anything. It's love calling you to a high calling, to be as he is, to exhibit his traits and be a living sacrifice. What is the point of being a living sacrifice if you're not giving up your life in place of another's life to be lived in your place? Whose life is supposed to be lived in your place? That's what I'm asking you all. And you all will say it, but you all get in the way when it's his time to drive the car. You all jump in the driver's seat and push him out of the way and start driving like you know what you're doing, when all you're going to do is crash that damn car. That's all you're going to do. When you are called to be silent, it's going to be hard to be silent. That's how you know you're supposed to be. I don't know if they can hear the grandson, but I hope that they can. I hope that they can. That's when it's time to be silent, when it's hard to be. Like when that nigga in the basement going, bring your ass down here, nigga. They're asking me what's wrong. Come down here and find out what's wrong. No thanks. No problem. I'm already up here. I'm not trapped down there. I'm up here. So I'm going to stay free. I'm going to stay in the light. I'm going to stay tenderhearted. That's simple. Because I'm called to. So then it's my time to endure. Somebody says, hey, man, you don't see that nigga mistreating you? Yes. How come you aren't reacting like that? Well, before I answer that question, I'll ask you a question. Who do you serve? I serve Jesus Christ. What does he say you do in a situation like what I'm in? Forgive, man. Turn the other cheek, man. Render not evil for evil. So then doesn't that answer your question? Oh, I mean, yeah, it does. I'm just not used to seeing anybody actually do what Yahusha said do. Well, then what is that telling you? Well, before the part about enduring and iniquity abounding, did you read verse 11? Let's read it in case you didn't read it. Many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. See that there? So doesn't that help you to understand why people say Jesus and I love ya and don't actually do what he says to do? Because false prophets arose and deceived a whole lot of people. That's why. They're telling people to do anything else but love. If all you must do to be saved is love, as we just read there, and enduring that, that's what we just read. I don't care how people fucking feel about it. That's another part about this message I want y'all all to understand. Let's stump feelings in their ass real quick. Don't suffer that Jezebel to say shit to you. When your feelings are dysregulated, you are a Jezebel, and it's just that simple. That's why self-control is a fruit of the spirit. When you don't have self-control, you're emotionally dysregulated. And when you're emotionally dysregulated, you don't do the right thing, do you? Okay, then. So the prophets, false prophets, deceived many. They're deceiving you out of loving and enduring in your love. They will tell you to do any damn other kind of shit other than that. They'll tell you what to eat. They'll tell you how you should dress. Tell me when love starts to come in here. They'll tell you what you should eat. They tell you how you should dress. They tell you how you should wear your clothes. They tell you what's unclean and unprofitable physically, like clothes and foods and holy days and all kinds of things that they will tell you is unclean. And then they will present you with things that they say are clean, which ain't nothing but a heavy burden to bear, just like what was going on in Yahushua's time. You put heavy burdens on men's shoulders, heavy to be borne and grievous to be borne. What do that mean? What does it mean to put a heavy burden that's grievous to be borne? Grievous to be borne means it's hard to carry it. So then these people are telling you things that are hard to carry, that don't even profit you. But Yahushua said, what I got for you is light and it's easy. That's what he said. And didn't it just say he who endures in loving shall be saved? Did it say who endures with wearing a certain type of garment shall be saved? Is that what it say? But you got these false prophets that will come to the flock. Listen good so you don't get deceived. They will come to the flock and tell you, well, that's the love of God. Is what you wear and what you drink and what you put on. If that's the love of God, then why did God's son, who I should be listening to over your dumb ass, told me, take no thought of what I shall eat, what I shall drink, and what I shall put on? Who's telling me the truth? The one who says don't think about that shit, or the one who says think about it so much so that that's all you think about. And if you think about that, then you love God. The one who says, if I don't think about it, is the one who showed me how to love God. He said, I come to reveal the Father to you. I come to reveal what is pleasing to the Father, what the Father is like, what his personality is like, who he is. That's what I've come to reveal to you. Y'all don't know my Father. Who is he saying that to? Scallywags on the street or people who profess to actually be religious leaders of the day? So then so it is today, little flock. It's not the people that you see every day on the street that you need to be worried about. It's these false people that stand before you that say they serve the one you love. No, they don't. Because if they did, then how come we're not one? How come if you guys believe that I'm from Yahusha, then how come the things that come out of my mouth are not coming out of their mouths? If we're all one, because that's what Yahusha said. He said, we're all one. We're all one body, and there should be no schism in it. So we should all be saying the same things concerning who the Father is. But how come we're not? Because you don't know my Father. And if I say I don't know him, I make myself a liar. Who said that? So we see that men seek to justify themselves. That's the warning that I'm giving you. I'm right. You're wrong. So anything you do after that is going to be seeking to justify the fact that you're right. That's all you're going to do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. That is all I'm going to do. I know. That's why I'm warning you about it. You don't need to justify yourself. You can't no way, because you ain't your own maker. You're not your own maker, so it ain't no need in trying to justify. What did he say? Matter of fact, let me just give you the words he said. He says, the pottery. Does it look at the potter and ask, why have you made me thus? Do you understand that question? Why did you make me this? So how many people look at God and say, why did you make me into this? You made a mistake. Why did you turn me into that? I don't want to be that. I'm not that. I'm actually this. So why did you make me that? Look at humanity's pride. Telling the potter what he has made. You see it? Instead of submitting to what the potter says he has made. Well, if I submit to you, then it's going to get bitter, man. Where's all my respect? Why do you deserve it? Answer that question, and then maybe I'll give you a trickle of it. Why do you deserve respect? Anybody listen to this message today? What have you done in your life to garner respect from other people? What have you done so great? Now, my question to anybody listening to this message, have you ever done anything disrespectful to a person in your heart? When I add that part, everybody goes, oh, yeah, in your heart. Have you ever looked at a person and smiled, but in your heart you said, can't stand that motherfucker. Oh, I can't stand him. I can't wait to be away from that motherfucker. Man, that nigga's irritating as fuck. Get on my fucking nerves. You say all this privately and secretly in your heart, correct? So then you hated your brother in your heart. What happened when Miriam did that? She hated her brother in her heart. And what happened to her? She got leprosy, which is the mark of a murderer. So then when you're doing that, you're murdering. But you feel good because you didn't actually murder. And then you go forth and justify that by condemning other people who have physically killed people. You have spiritually killed. As Christ says, you committed adultery in your heart, then you've done it. So if you did anything else in your heart, you done it then. This ain't hard for nobody to understand. But niggas only stop on that. Yeah, commit adultery in your heart, you did it. Okay, well, I wasn't even thinking about committing adultery in my heart. Well, what else do you think about in that wicked, desperately wicked ass heart of yours? Because it's coming. It's going to come. It's up to you to endure it. But it's going to come talking its shit to you. I don't like this. I'm irritated. I'm upset. I'm this. You're just taking the Lord's name in vain, aren't you? But you don't know it, do you? So then look at Yahusha. Forgive them for they don't know. And that's the people you're dealing with. They don't know they're taking the Lord's name in vain. I'm mad right now. So talk to me when I'm ready to talk. And then you get all offended. Why you gotta talk to me like that? Why you gotta yell? Why you gotta be so disrespectful like that? Because I'm mad. See how they just justify? They don't have any empathy. They don't have any compassion for how you might feel at that moment. So it's not for you at that point to get affected by it. That's the key. If you can grasp this, it's up to you at that moment to accept it. See how I meant about accepting things? Okay, so you want to be an asshole right now. I understand. You feeling like an asshole, right? Yeah, I just can't talk. I'm too mad to even speak. Fine. Got nothing to do with me. Pew! I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. That's how you gotta be. All right. That's how you feel. I'll go on my way. Then they fume even more. See, you just want somebody to come wrestle with you, man. I'm not wrestling with you. I'm not about to get down in the mud with a pig and wallow in it. Why would I do that? I'm upright. That's why I'm upstairs and you downstairs. You see it? So it's okay. I'm going to endure. Yeah, but I want to do some unfair shit to you, man, so I can hurt your feelings. I have had my feelings hurt over and over and over in this world. And it still does not change the fact that I am loved, that I am blessed, that I am supported, because I'm not going to curse God's name because of my outside circumstances. Why? Because I read the book of Job. And then I read the scripture that told me to be reminded of that book that I read and say, remember Job and remember the end of Job, that the end is better than the beginning. So yes, in the beginning, I was struggling and stressing in the beginning, you see, all confused. Why are people so mean to each other? Why are people so heartless and cruel to other people? It's so weird and strange how they don't have that thing in them that goes, hey man, you know what? Let me be gentle and tender toward us. You know what I'm saying? There's all kind of other creatures on the earth, but human beings just look at each other and be like, I gotta kill him. I gotta take his land. He's doing better than me. I gotta take his gold. Let's take his woman. Let's kill him. Let's string him up. Let's destroy. Let's invade. Let's do all kind of evil to one another. Okay, well, God said love one another. So then all this evil for one another and all that shit, who telling you to do that? Yeah, you can all in the hell you want. It ain't gonna help you get nothing done. You can all you want. It ain't gonna get anything done. It's like the scripture says about talking. A whole lot of talking gendereth to poverty, or make you poverty. It make you broke. You ain't did no doing. All you did was just talk about doing. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. And you didn't actually do it. So then what profit is it? It's the same concept to this. If you accept it, then you won't be wrestling with it anymore. You won't be fighting anymore. You're only fighting to justify yourself. So you need not fight in that battle. You need to just stand still and see the salvation of I am. Well, I am safe. So I'm going to wait until the circumstance matches that. I am at peace with this person. So I'm going to simply wait until that manifests because I'm a faithful man. That's what faithful men do. They have a hope of something and they have no evidence of the hope. So they endure in the hope because that's how he exhibits his faith. So he does the things that match. This is the doing that people are blind to. For instance, the two people are arguing like I described. The one person is in the wrong and the other person is right. How does he demonstrate his faith? Okay, well, I am peaceful. You're upset and you're ready to fight right now, but I am peaceful. One people shall be stronger than the other. So I gave you guys the example of the man standing over me, ready to beat me, and then me saying, I love you, brother, so do whatever you're going to do. See how I'm not going to justify myself in front of anybody? I'm tough. I'm the baddest nigga in the world. This flesh and blood body ain't shit but a waste of fucking material. It is the spirit. I said prophet and spirit together. The prophet. The spirit that profited withal. The flesh profiteth nothing. This flesh and blood body doesn't profit what I do. The spirit is what profits what I do. If I do anything and it doesn't have love, love is not the root of what I'm doing, then I didn't do anything. I wasted my time. So if we talking right now and my foundation is not love, then I'm not actually talking to you. So since your foundation isn't love, it's hate, bitterness, strife, and maliciousness right now, that's all you feeling, then I will patiently wait and endure it. Because I'm stronger than you. One people is stronger than the other people, guys. What kind of people do you think that means? Two physical nations on earth? It means one is spiritual and one is carnal when they meet. It could be any race. It could be two people of the same exact race. But one people is stronger than the other one. Can y'all hear that wisdom? The spiritually minded man is going to conquer and dominate the carnally minded man. The carnally minded man, let's see what his tools are. Maliciousness, wrath, envy, covetousness, jealousies, heresies. Y'all see this is the tools he's got. What do you got on this side? You got self-control. You got peace. You got love. You got joy. You got mercy. You got long-suffering. You got loving kindness. So when they come together to fight, this side, which is the spiritual side, will dominate the other because the scripture says love conquers all. So you can come with all. It is when I don't choose love that I suffer because I know who I am. Do you know who you are? If you know who you are, then you'll know why you suffer. I'll give you an example of what I mean. If I have a car and it's a diesel, but yet when I go to the gas station, I'm putting unleaded regular fuel into my car. What's going to happen? My car is going to suffer. Why? Maybe I wasn't aware of what the car needed. I gave it something that doesn't actually benefit it. Now, if I had a regular car, then it would benefit that car to put that kind of fuel in it. But since this is a diesel, I need diesel fuel or I'm going to suffer. So you have a lot of diesel cars out there, spiritually minded people who are putting unleaded in and suffering. You can put premium in this shit. You're going to suffer because you're not putting diesel in, man. You got to put the right fuel. Well, the only way you can put the right fuel is to look at the car and say, wait a second, this is a diesel engine. Now I know what it is. So now I know what to give it. So now, since we're talking about two different nations of people, the regular car, the carnal minded, and the diesel, the spiritually minded, they receive different things to make them work optimally. So when the carnal minded person is putting unleaded in and they're driving all over you, tearing your ass up because you can't do shit because you in a busted ass diesel that got regular fuel in it. In other words, you're taking their tactics and trying to use them to talk to them. That's not who you is. Can y'all hear this message today? They get upset, you get upset. They get disrespectful, you get disrespectful. You putting fuel in your car that gonna make your car run like shit. When they get nasty, you get kind. When they get nastier, you get kinder. When they get stupid, you get wise. When they get stupider, you get wiser. When they get short-tempered, you become long-suffering. You want power today? Then you'll listen to me. If you want to be ass out and hold, then you'll do the opposite of what I'm telling you. You'll just keep running along, bumping your damn head and crashing your car, thinking that you're going to get ahead. Hey, man, that bitch disrespected me. That's why I had to say that to her. See what I mean? See what I mean? So let me interpret to you what you're saying when you say stuff like that. She did this, and that's why I had to do that. So what you're saying is, she's my master and she controls me. No, fuck, no, that's not what I'm saying. What the fuck? See the carnal mind, how stupid and dumb this shit is? That's why I hate the carnal mind. I hate the carnal mind. Abba hates it too. I have rejected it. I hate Esau. One people shall be stronger than the other. I hate Esau, but Jacob I love. Jacob said, brother, let's make peace. Here's a gift. Let's not kill. Let's not fight. Esau said, I hate my brother. As soon as my daddy's dead, I'm going to kill Jacob. Look at the two differences. So what mind do you like? The one that's plotting to kill his own damn brother? Or the one that's saying, hey, man, let's make peace. Let's forgive one another. But what does the world kill? Well, you know, it took Barabbas, a murderer, in his stead and said, crucify the Son of Glory, the innocent, pure Lamb of God. I told y'all got to show Abba just how wicked you is. You got to show him. Isn't that showing the Father how much you hate him by taking his son and killing him? There's a parable about this if you guys think I'm just tripping. He sent servants. And then eventually he sent his own son, and they did him worse than they did the servants. So God sent prophets and prophets and prophets, and the people hated them. They mocked them, it said. They hated. But then when Yahusha come, they killed, crucified. Look at this here. So then Abba's just telling you the truth. When I send love to the earth rejects love. They reject the truth. That's why iniquity is abounding. And that's why I'm telling you all who have held on to your love not to let it go, but endure these things that you shall indeed have to endure. You're running on a treadmill and you got to run 12 miles. You're in the third mile and you're sweating and fucking about to pass out. You got 9 more miles to go. And your trainer's sitting there looking at his watch like, I'm not turning the speed on this treadmill down. Keep running. You got 9 more miles to go. I can't. I'm fucking exhausted. I can't do it. Oh, I can't do it. Well, then you can't endure until the end. You don't have any endurance. That's what it means. So the sweating and that's you living here in this place called earth. And every day that you live, iniquity is increased more than the day previous to it. Did y'all hear that? Each day is more unequal than the previous day. So it's not like every day is getting easier. It's every day is getting harder. Just like the first mile was pretty easy when you were running on the treadmill. Then the second mile got a little bit harder. Then the third mile was hard as hell. You're like, I got 9 more to go. Shit. That fourth one gonna kill my ass. Yeah, that's how it feels living here on earth. These people's attitudes, their evil, wicked, disrespectful way of speaking, acting, their non-care for the feelings and emotions and state of another. All of these things accumulate to make an unbearable, uninhabitable place. Like Sodom was. That's why he said, don't look back or you'll turn into exactly what Sodom is. Pillar of damn salt, man. Just nothing but fucking bitterness. Y'all hear that today? Nothing but tears and sorrow, sadness, gloom. Why? Iniquity is abounding. So if all that's compounded on you, what will sustain you and what will save you? The Father's name will. I am loved. The iniquity is only saying that I'm not. The iniquity that's abounding is not telling me that I'm loved. It's trying to convince me that I'm not. So then I will fight faithfully in the Father's name, and I will stand on that rock. I am loved. Watch this. I feel disrespected. Feel. So now, do I act as though I am? No, it's just a feeling. So now what do I do with the feeling of being disrespected? I correct it in the name of the Father. I am respected. I stay there, even though this person is trying to convince me that I'm not. If y'all don't know this, what I'm telling you, then all you're going to do is react out of emotion. Dead sea means no emotional reaction. Dead. What did Yahusha do? This is why what I'm saying. Is it strange what I'm saying? What did Yahusha do when his hour came? He opened not his mouth. Was he right and were they wrong? Yes. How come he didn't justify himself? So then why are you trying to? But you'll fix your mouth to say you love who? Yahusha. He says, why do you say you love me if you don't do the things I tell you to do? It's like a father with his son. Dad, I love you, I love you, I love you. But the child does nothing the father tells him to do. So then how does he love him? So then how do you love Christ if you don't do the things that he tells you to do? You do the things the false shepherds and the false prophets tell you to do. Then you don't love Yahusha. You're going to get deceived, according to what we just read there a minute ago. You see? So before we end this message, we're going to go to one more scripture, and then we'll be done with this. Go to the book of Ecclesiastes. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. And we'll start at verse 1. Remember, this message is about accepting things and then dealing with them accordingly to what you have accepted. In other words, if I walk into the room and somebody's upset and I say, how you doing today? I mean, I want to fucking talk, man. Get the fuck on somewhere, man. Oh, that holly jolly love shit. Get out of here. What do? Hey, man. Get offended. Try to justify my position. Try to talk. Try to say, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. What are you doing? Do I do any of that? That's the natural inclination. I want you to know that. That's what you'll naturally think to do. That's called saving your life. But if you accept that this person is in that state and that I am not in that state, if I accept that's true, then I just remain where I am. Okay? All righty then. Talk to you later. Pew! Watch. Ecclesiastes 1 or 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season. Stop. See? I know people want things to be right all the time. They want things to be jolly and holly and every damn thing all the time. They want things to be good all the time. But what does it say? It says there is a season to everything. A season. Just like you may love summertime. Watch what I'm telling you. Y'all love summer. You're dancing around, going to the beach, going down to Miami, going to the strip, walking around with no clothes on and shit, feeling good. Then as soon as winter comes, shit, it's cold, got to cover up, can't go to the beach no more. You stand inside all the damn time. There are two different seasons. Now, since you like dancing around with no clothes on at the beach and everything during the summertime, what happens when winter comes? Do you still run out there with your swimming trunks on, running out there trying to run on the beach with the ice and shit all on top of it and every damn thing? Is that what you do? No, you accept it. You accept that it's coming, just like the things I'm telling you are coming. This cold-ass winter. Winter's coming. Why do you think love is waxing cold? Love don't wax cold in a hot circumstance. It wax cold in a cold circumstance. Cold is what you say when somebody don't have no empathy. They don't have no sympathy on others. They don't have no care about other people's state. That's when you say, hey, man, you cold. You cold-hearted. You see? Nah. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Under the heaven. See that there? So in the flesh world, that's what he's telling you about. That's why he also says all is vanity under the sun. He's always talking about the carnal world and the flesh world. Everything done in it is bullshit. It's a waste of time. So the only thing that you should be doing while you're in there is fearing God and keeping his commandment. That's all you should be doing. Because that's your whole duty. That's what you was made for. Pottery. Now, you can holler at the potter and say whatever you want to say. It don't change the fact that he's the potter and he made you pot. Oh, hear me? A time to be born. Isn't that true? Y'all have y'all birth dates and the exact time you were born and everything. And a time to die. You've seen death certificates and the time the person died and every damn thing. On the damn obituary, it says sunrise and sunset. See that there? A time to plant. So when you got a garden, you cast some seeds when it's springtime and shit, early spring, you cast your seeds out there, right? And a time to pluck up that which is planted. You go all the way to September, and now you got your fruit that you had planted all the way back in April. You see? A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. Okay, so we said kill, heal, break down, build up, weep, and laugh. Are both of those times going to cause you to feel the same way as you go through the seasons? Of course not. It says a time to laugh and a time to weep. So when the time of weeping comes, do you still just want to laugh and refuse to accept that it's the time of weeping? So you should fully embrace that time, just like you fully embrace the time of laughing. Do y'all hear this message today, Little Flock? A time to mourn and a time to dance. See it? A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Stop. Again, Little Flock. So, tender-hearted, loving people want to embrace all the time. They want to always be embraced. That's part of the iniquity abounding you got to get used to. There will be a time when you must refrain from it, and it will be hard for you because you're a lover. And you love companionship and brotherhood and embracing and laughing and joy. But there will be a time when you must refrain from it and go into seclusion, go inside your house, put a lock on it, and just remain silent and be quiet like Yahusha told you. I'll drink this wine with you guys again in the kingdom. But right now, I got to go through suffering. And when he said that, Peter said, I rebuke you. You shall not go through these things. You shall not suffer that. Yahusha said, get behind me, Satan. You don't savor the things that are God's. See it. You don't accept. That's the point. You don't accept God's will. You're trying to fight against his will for you by creating what you think make it look right. He always was doing that. He did it when they were on the mountain. He saw Elijah and he saw Moses and he saw Yahusha. And he said, let's make 3 tabernacles here. You see it? Let's make it glorify the way I think it should be. Let's justify. No, wisdom is justified of her own. You don't got to justify a damn thing. If you try to justify yourself, you're going to end up in a world of hurt. You're going to end up in the basement surprised as to how you got down there. How the hell did I get down here? How come I'm not saved? Because you didn't endure. See it? A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence. See that little flop? And a time to speak. There's a time for both. So if it's a time to be silent and you speak, what did you do? You tore your own britches and ruined your own circumstance. If it's a time to speak and you were quiet, then what did you do? For instance, watch what I'm about to tell you. You walked up to somebody, a companion or a friend or a wife or anybody. You walked up to this person, you asked them how they were doing, and they responded in a nasty tone and a nasty manner to you. So you said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and go my way. Now you go away. Now they sit and ponder on what they did to you for a while. They say, that wasn't right. That wasn't right for me to talk to them like that. So they come back 20 minutes later or 2 days later. They come back and they say, hey, you know what? The other day when I was talking to you or when I was speaking to you earlier, that wasn't right. And I shouldn't have did that. Now it's your time to speak. It wasn't earlier, but now it is. So then now what do you say? Do you remain silent out of pride and vindictiveness and keeping a record of wrong? Yeah, you were talking to me crazy, so don't come talking to me now. People do it all the time, guys. And some of you are guilty of doing it as well. I myself have done it. You come to somebody, you ask them how they're doing, they give you an attitude, you walk away. Then they come back later on and want to talk to you, and you're like, no, I tried to talk to you earlier. You gave me shit. Don't try to come being cool with me now. See? You see it? That's just keeping a record of wrong. That ain't loving. It's best for you to say, oh, you ready to talk now? Oh, all right, cool. Must be time to speak. Now let's speak. I forgive you. Ain't no problem. I understand we all go through shit, man. We all have a bad moment, have a bad time. Now you got peace and can make peace with one another. I understand. dwell with your wife with understanding. Do you know what that means? Dwell with your feelings with understanding. I understand why you feel the way you feel in there. Self-controlling myself. I understand why you upset. I understand why you were offended. But remember what the master told us, baby. Remember what he told us. He said, peace be still. He says, wait on me. Wait on my salvation, and I'll give it to you. Just stand still. You should not need to fight in this battle. That's how you're talking to yourself, your wife. Now you're dwelling with her with understanding. Because I do understand why you get all up in arms. I understand why you want to lash back and say, I didn't do anything wrong. I understand it. Just because you tell your child the right way doesn't mean you don't understand why they went the wrong way. You hear that? So Abba understands when you go the wrong way or when you knock your head. That's why he gives you grace to repent and come back to the right way. And learn to be fearless. And learn to be truly patient. Because that's love, guys. That's the doing God is interested in. How patient are you? Love is patient. Well, then God is looking to see how patient you are. Where does he have to look to see that? Your heart. Where does he have to look to see how kind you are? Your heart. Where does he have to look to see if you're puffed up and vaunting up yourself? Your heart. God judges the heart. Searches the heart. So then, do you see what I mean about shepherds talking about outward things instead of the heart? How to remain in control when things are coming that are specifically designed to pull you out of control? If the Father wants you to exhibit self-control, if you don't have that trait, he's going to train you up in the way that you should go. So the things you go through are for your benefit, but you don't know that. You think it's something bad. It's helping you to be more patient. That's the purpose of it. That's why the scripture says, let patience have her perfect work. Y'all hear that today, little flockulators? So y'all be blessed today. This isn't a very hard message to understand. It's just oftentimes can be hard to implement it. That's when endurance has to come in. When you're on that treadmill and you feel like giving up and I can't go another mile, I am can. Do you hear that? Do you hear how that associates with you? I am can go the whole way. And he will provide a means and a way for you to complete what you have started if you just have faith and believe in it. And don't give in and don't give up, but endure to the end, and you shall indeed be saved. Silwan Misraela.